Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We have not spoken about Path of Exile for a while, and that was for two reasons. First, my spontaneous love affair with Final Fantasy XIV that I'm trying to turn into an official long-term relationship, but Final Fantasy's mom, data service, won't let me. And then there is also a second reason that there was not all that much happening in Path of Exile lately, to be honest. But this morning, Australian time, we finally had a massive announcement of Path of Exile 3.15 Expedition League, with a bunch of changes that made me very excited, and I wanted to talk to you about it. So I had to quickly put together this video, recapping what resonated with me personally first and foremost, and why I think that Expedition League is going to be huge compared to the past couple of leagues anyway. I am not going to try and recap literally every feature that was announced, as I couldn't do it as much justice as Chris Wilson himself of GGG has done on the stream this morning. So if you are after the full 40-minute version that includes every bit of detail, please check out the link to it in the description below this video. If you're still here though and want my take on what's happening, awesome, let's take a quick look at it together, shall we? The league concept itself, Expedition League. I think it's a great concept of a league with very different item acquisition mechanics. Gambling, trading, bartering, upselling, as well as the targeted engagement with the mechanic itself, by blowing up only certain parts of the marked area on the map, therefore controlling how you want to engage with the event, and optionally increase its difficulty for extra rewards. I think that gives us both flexibility and just a fresh spin on what we've been receiving in pretty fixed packages before. Then number two is that there are lots of new skill gems. I can barely contain my excitement. There are 19 potentially new builds to experiment with. I would say even more than 19, but 19 new gems. It is absolutely massive. We will quickly take a look at the most interesting ones to me as a player, to my playstyle, after I've finished quickly listing these few points. Third, that the game will be made harder. It's hard to tell at the moment just how much harder, but they spent quite a lot of time talking about this just to kind of manage the shock, I suppose. So we will be looking generally at less power creep, where basically everything just dies from the sheer sight of you entering the map at some point, if you push hard enough. This will without a doubt make some of us feel a little less powerful and slowed down by this suddenly more challenging environment, but overall it sounded like a good thing in long term, especially if you do spend time and listen to the original version and extra detail about the design thinking at Grinding Gear Games from Chris Wilson that went into this pivot. Number 4 is that flasks are reworked. How awesome is that? Finally, the elitist experts of the game can stop shouting at me in the comments for having life flasks on my belt or for not spamming all of them all the time. Thank you, GGG. Seriously though, the best thing is the auto trigger of flasks mechanic. It is absolutely fantastic. Yes, if you can't be bothered looking at the full version of this that I'm still encouraging you to look at, there will be a system that would allow you to upgrade your flask and attach a specific effect to it that will auto-trigger the flask upon you igniting, for example, or bleeding, for example, so you wouldn't need to manually activate it. For me, as a lazy player, as a lazy casual player, this is a godsend. Finally, point number 5, what that resonated with me primarily was the Battle Royale mode. Apparently April Fool's Day joke that they first launched on the 1st of April 2018, that has evolved quite dramatically since that time and now looks like a properly fully fledged feature. Available right now, and quite a bit of fun from what I could test this very early morning. The problem this early morning and for the rest of the day here in Australia is that Grinding Gear Games is also suffering from its own success, and by also I mean same thing as what Final Fantasy XIV is experiencing right now. Regardless of all the promises and desire to provide the best play experience possible, their servers just simply can't handle the load of all the excited players pouring into the new game mode right now on the day of release, therefore causing lag and disconnects. Happens to the best of us. That's how launches of the new expansions happened for Activision Blizzard and World of Warcraft 2, with all their massive infrastructure and metric tons of money. No, I never thought that this problem was unique to Final Fantasy XIV since I mentioned it, with its suddenly increased popularity too, but I still believe that the developers need to welcome this success and scale up their server architecture rapidly to solidify interest of the newcomers and returning players, and to not basically turn them away by allowing their game to remain inaccessible due to the poor server performance. Not everything can be addressed 100%, I know, I'm not saying that it can be, but a lot of it can. Now finally, let's just very quickly recap the skills that have been presented today for the new league that I'm particularly excited about. There's a whole bunch to take a look at, there are 19 of them, but specifically I'm interested in Storm Rain, which is for Ranger, arrow builds obviously, looks quite interesting. I'm quite impressed by Rage Vortex. Shield Crush, Explosive Concoction, Eye of Winter is fantastic for Elementalists. Summoning of the Reaper as an alternative to pet management for Necromancer. Forbidden Rite, it looks like a tough one, but quite an interesting and promising one for Occultist. Absolution is sort of interesting, a bit niche, but something that I would definitely play with. And Spectral Helix is quite exciting too. And that's all I wanted to fit into under 10 minutes today for you, my friends. These are my immediate on-the-spot kind of emotions and reaction to what's been announced today about the new Path of Exile 3.15 Expedition League that's coming to us on 23rd of July, which is very soon. It's like next week. I can't wait personally, and yes, I'll be rolling some new builds. I'll probably be starting a progressive build of a new character in that new world and just report to you and play with you in parallel to Final Fantasy XIV if I can get through horrendous lag and server performance and actually enjoy the game a little bit. But you will be the first ones to know, especially if you subscribe and like the video, and keep supporting me and understand that I'm not bashing any games here. I'm just an excited player who wants to have fun in the process. Thanks for tuning in today. I'll be speaking with you again very soon. See you later. Bye bye.
Drop the bass.